Not sure if you're watching the news, but the old economy is looking pretty gnarly.
The world economy is speeding towards a cliff edge.
Recession is a high probability, sometime likely in 2023 at this point.
Many Americans are nervous about rising costs.
Unemployment would rise from 3.6 to 5.5, 6%.
While none of us can know what will really happen, I want to give you 3 things that you can do right now to prepare your training gym for the end of the world. My name is Mark Fisher, and if you like today's video, you're going to head over to businessforunicorns.com and find out more about how we help training gym owners create more income, more impact, and more freedom, and survive the end of the world. I do think we're probably in for a little bit of a rough ride here for the next, let's call it 12 to 24 months. Now, how bad it's going to get is anyone's guess, and it's possible that we might land in a soft recession. I want to share some thoughts for how you might prepare your training gym in case there is some kind of economic downturn. First up, crisis equals opportunity. What I really want you to understand is you need to adopt the mindset that whenever there is challenges, whenever there's crisis, it's always opportunity for you. Adversity is good for you. Things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And if you're afraid of making difficult changes for your business, I recommend check out my video, 36 Hours of Pain, to understand how to rip off Band-Aids. Your second action step is communicate, communicate, communicate. Again, this is always valuable, but if and when economic storms are brewing, as a leader, you can't really ever over communicate. It's almost not a thing. It's going to be very important to be clear with your team about how things are progressing if things start to get weird again. So your playbook here is be candid about the challenge, be upfront, be direct about the facts on the ground if and when things start to impact the business, emphasize the mission, remind them why the business exists, identify the opportunities, and then finally, do your best to clarify what is the vision? Where are we moving toward?
You be telephone fucking terrorist!
You're looking to identify the specific opportunities that are going to come out of this challenge. And then finally, you're casting a vision of here's where we're going, here's what's in it for you, let's go. And your third action step to prepare for is to properly prepare your finances. As our pal Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you get to see who's swimming butt-ass naked. You're gonna see a lot of ass cracks, because when the tide goes down, you understand who is not wearing financial underpants. Now, remember, these are always good ideas, but it's a particularly good idea to shore up your finances before things get bumpy. On the cash preservation side, you want to make sure you have a sufficient emergency fund. You also, secondly, want to develop a line of credit now. So if you don't have a line of credit with your bank and you're in a good position right now, great news, that's the best time to ask for money. Now, what I love about line of credit is it's not a loan, you don't have to take it out, it's just one more safety net. So God forbid, in some weird situation you burn to the emergency room, you have access to more cash. And thirdly, be ruthless about cutting unnecessary expenses. Again, you should always be doing this, but now is the time to really go through that P&L with a fine-tooth comb. Really ask yourself, are you using this infinite number of $10 to $50 dues and subscriptions that everybody seems to accumulate over time, right? What can you do to save money now? And if you haven't filled up that emergency fund, if you can drop your monthly nut even a little bit, again, that's always a good idea, but particularly if things get bumpy. And finally, on the revenue side, of course, you are gonna stay on top of your day-to-day lead generating activities. Now is not the time to take the foot off the gas. If anything, you wanna hit the gas harder. You wanna make sure you are disciplined on a daily basis. If you're the owner, you probably should be doing this on a daily basis on the activities that are gonna generate leads. You gotta be getting those joint venture business partnerships, posting on organic social media, sending out emails on a similar regular basis to your list, and you have channels where you can make offers so the people that know you and like you, trust you, can take that next step and finally have the good sense to hire you and work with you. Your second plan of action on the revenue side is, if you're not already running a marketing calendar, well, again, my goodness, now is the time to do it, right? You want to think at least 3 months in advance. I do a whole year at a time in the fall every year, and then in practice what I do is a few weeks before the end of a given quarter, I look at the next 3 months, I really dial in what's happening each of those weeks, and I kick some butt.
I said I'm going to kick his ass.
You want to be thinking of novel ways to get people in the door, ways to talk to different audiences, right? So maybe sometimes you're doing specific offers to reactivate former members. Maybe sometimes you're doing a specific offer to people who have never worked with you at all, some awesome incentive to finally give you a try. Maybe maybe you're making offers of additional solutions you can sell to your current members. You really need to think through this so that on a semi-regular basis, you're really pulling all the levers to continue to get revenue. And finally, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but for the love of all that's holy, if you haven't raised your rates, certainly since COVID, you just have to, particularly with inflation. All of your expenses are going up. You're going to have to give your team raises, which ideally we want to do anyway. But if you have not raised your raises yet, that is going to be a very important thing for you to do. And I have a lot of content about that on the Biz for Unicorns website. And if you're interested, shoot me an email. Maybe I'll do a whole video on how to raise rates, because it's not that complicated, but there are some nuances around that. A lot of training gym owners are understandably afraid to raise rates on their long-term and loyal clients. So I think there's ways to do it that are more elegant than others, and I'd be happy to share some strategies if that's helpful. In closing, I want to remind you, listen, all three of these pieces apply at all times, right? We always want to have the framework and the mindset that diversity is good. We always want to be communicating with our team, particularly through times of change. And we always want to be shoring up, making sure we have sufficient cash and focusing on lead generating activities. So again, none of this is really new, but the stakes just get much higher, because in the fact of the matter is, when economic situations are good, if you're in a good even season of a year, you can get away with cruising a little bit. And while it's not really wrong, it's not the best way to have the very best possible training gym to help the most people, create the most opportunities for your staff. And you're watching this video, so I know you have a passion for kicking training gym business butt.
If he's gonna come in here, he's gonna kick my ass.
All right, pals. Well, hopefully we're not going to see the end of the world, but if you do, now you'll be prepared. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, it means so much to me. If you know anyone else that does fitness business stuff and they want more strategies to have more success, get better results faster, and help more people, send them our way. Hit smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in a future video for more actionable tips, psychological frameworks, and philosophy.